Hello, my name is Mariana, and today this is a reading for Aries. So Aries, as usual, I'm doing a reading with my own tarot deck, so the cards that you see are from this deck. So Aries, let's talk about celebration, a reason to celebrate. And the reason might not be what you're thinking, because I feel like it's not a big party, a big celebration. It's actually just celebrating maybe this inner gratitude, like celebrating the fact that you have those that you love closest to you, and that's enough. And I feel like that really brings you the sense of like self-satisfaction, self-fulfillment, and like abundance really, and prosperity. But something happens, Aries, in your mind, and I feel like it could be like this sense of responsibility, this duty, this responsibility towards others, right? Like being the one who's going to provide for the family, for instance, to bring stability to them. And I feel like this is not because you are, being very, like demanding on yourself, like you're being very rigid, like, requiring that you give up on, moments of leisure and just, like just enjoying being with your family doesn't mean that you have to kill yourself working to sustain that living, right? Or that lifestyle. But it feels like you are maybe stressing yourself out to keep that stability, right? To provide for those people in a way that is like solid and very foundational, right? It's almost like you want to guarantee to those people that they have a safe harbor, that they have like a place that they can come to, and that is going to comfort them. It's going to bring them everything that you want, right? Which is this comfort and this reciprocal type of desire to have in others the same stability. But I feel like you're putting a lot on your shoulders, Aries, just by the fact that you think perhaps that you are the only one who can be in this position to sustain for the whole family, right? To bring in the money, or to like just to give stability, right? Stability here is the main thing, because we do have like 3 4s, right? So the only one that's missing is the 4 of Cups, which we don't have any Cups card here. So I feel like this extreme attention to foundation is something that is already a reason to celebrate, because I feel like you already have attained that. You have already established, like you have built a family that is already very solid, very it's like you're proud of that, right? And that's, the 4 of Wands beginning here, your reading is talking about this reason to celebrate, which might not be like this big party or this big wedding or this big whatever, right? Which is traditionally this message. And something else that I was seeing about this card, which was very interesting, because typically tarot card readers, they talk about the 1111 being in this card, with the traditional imagery that this card has in other decks. But we're just approaching the 1111 portal, which is in just a few days. And I feel like this is very timely for you, Aries, because I feel like maybe this switch that flips in your mind, that I'm going to show you the card that is happening, that which takes you from this mode of celebration and into the mode of, okay, let's work, let's bring the money, let's spend many hours working this out and trying to figure out a way to keep on sustaining this. Because at first you are in a moment of celebration and abundance and self-realization, understanding and acknowledging, most of all, that what you have built, the family that you have built, is very abundant, is very prosperous, is something that is, just that alone is reason enough for you to celebrate your life. Like, this is proof enough that you have accomplished something very enriching, right? The shared path that I often say that is in the tens, especially the 10 of Pentacles, being like this material proof, like something that is visible, that is very tangible. It's not, it's not just an idea of, well, maybe today I feel like I have, done a great job, but then there's nothing really there to back that up. And I feel like here it's like your family. If you look at your family, it's like you're going to see in their faces, in their lives, in their own accomplishments, right? It's like the accomplishments of your kids and, maybe the partner that you have. It's like, they are healthy, they are, successful in their own fields or in their own choices. That is reason enough to celebrate. Just being together, right? This is what I was seeing with the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands was talking about, a very small celebration, but nonetheless, like very, very joyous and happy and blissful and amazing, right? And bringing you this idea that, like, this makes you feel rich, right? This is what makes you feel rich, like having these people beside you. But as I said, there's something that happens in your mind, and maybe it has to do with, like this concern about time, like, just this connection with the 1111 portal. Maybe there's something that is starting to line up that flips the switch in your mind. And the Seven of Swords is bringing the confusion, is bringing the kind of like all of the cloudiness, all of the uncertainty. But it's more than just uncertainty. It's more like the obligation, I want to say, that you are responsible for these ones, for like sustaining their stability, right? Because the Four of Pentacles is coming next. So, another four, but it's a different kind of four. This one was, just celebrating being together with these ones and feeling like there is enough, right? That there is enough, that you are sharing more, than you thought that you could make. It's like, I want to rephrase that. It's not that you're sharing more than you thought that you can make. It's more like it's making you feel like you made more than you thought that you could. I hope that makes sense. So it's making you feel rich, right? Simply as that. It's like it's making you feel rich just because of the presence of those ones, right? In a small circle, right? Or square, depending on how many people is, in your family, the closest members, I want to say. So, but then when this flip is switched inside your mind, it feels like you enter this inner, debt, in a sense. It's like this circuit that is always running in the same kind of, that rat in a lab, right? Or the hamster in a wheel. It's like that is what I'm seeing with the Seven of Swords. It's like you enter in a mode where, if you started in celebration mode, here you are, like stability, groundedness. It's like you need a safe base, you need solidity, you need a foundation that is going to be secure enough, not just for you, Aries, but for the entire group, for the entire family. It's like this unit needs like a stability, right? Like this concrete foundation. And so with that, it's like this spinning idea that you have to provide, that you have to give them a solid foundation, makes you feel like you are carrying this burden on your own, right? The Nine of Wands is coming through with a traditional meaning, which I feel like it's like kind of a result or a consequence of this loop that is now, putting you in this mode maybe of survival, right? Of having to make like a very important decision or a move, or having to you know, downsize or like, you know, separate your resources in order to have this stability granted, right? There is a lot of like need to feel safe, need to feel like you have this security. Maybe we're talking about, you know, savings or, you know, whatever it is, right? So if here you have the realization that you are rich, maybe that's, you know, that mindset of, you know, the more you make, the more you're afraid to lose. It's something like that, right? Because I feel like here, it's almost like you feel like you are responsible for them. And the result of that is stress, right? But more than just stress, it's like it's this loneliness, because it's like you are putting on your shoulder this obligation that you're the one to step into this role. You're the one who has to be this foundational, essential part, right? That is going to bring the foundation to the others. And I feel like this is what really changes, or the guidance is, so that you can see it in a different way, that you're not burning yourself down. You're not, you know, extinguishing all of your fire. You know, the Wands card, especially the Ace, which is coming here at the end, it has come to me so many times, so many readings, as more than the fire element itself, but rather because of the shape of it as a tree, so more connected to the earth, to like this organic growth. But here, lately, the Wands are bringing this fire, are bringing this spark, this ignition. And I feel like because you're putting a lot on your shoulders, it feels like you are burning yourself down. It's like you are extinguishing this fire of creativity, of passion, of desire, of motivation and enthusiasm, to something that is very stressful, is very, it's just heavy, right? It's heavy because you are maybe forcing yourself to be in this position. So maybe you do think like you're responsible for the rest of your family, so you're the one who has to resolve everything. Like you're the one who has to set all of those stones right in place so that this foundation is stable enough for the rest of the group. But the third, fourth that is showing up here after this Nine of Wands is actually a great relief, because I feel like the Four of Swords here is just talking about like you liberating yourself from something that is too tight, right? Remember when I was talking about here with the Four of Wands, there is this proximity, right? It's like having those that you love closest to you and making it very like an intimate, small gathering. Like that's the reason to celebrate, because it's like in this, you know, safe haven, we have everything that we ever needed, right? And more than enough. It's like we have each other. But then when it becomes the Four of Pentacles, it's almost like obligation, right? It's like it's mandatory that everyone is in this position and they stick in this position forever just because it's safe, right? So instead of actually, you know, building comfort, it's actually very uncomfortable to just stay here, right? And if we think of the Four of Pentacles as like the attachment, it's also like, you know, on the long run is not healthy, right? So it's like it's learning to detach and let go of the need for this to be as it is here. Like if this feels very spontaneous, right? Like this, you know, lunch with your family, which, you know, during the week it happens like very rarely, but then, you know, one day without even needing to, you know, arrange everything, and, you know, just it happens. And just that fact alone gives this sensation that this is very valuable, that this is incredibly enriching, that this is a reason to celebrate. But then, you know, with the Seven of Swords, like thinking that that has to be the norm, that has to be the foundation, it cannot change, because otherwise maybe you'll feel like you're losing this abundance, you're losing this prosperity, or maybe you're losing this capacity to value yourself or value like your presence within the others. So again, that responsibility that, you know, if this is not like this in this mode of celebration, you know, always, then it's not stable, it's not safe. But this is incredibly stressful, this is incredibly heavy for you to carry on your own, right? So the same way that this flip was switched inside your mind, it's almost like do the same thing but with them in mind, right? It's not to forget about the others that you seem to be putting a lot of responsibility on your shoulder and like demanding a lot of yourself, right? But also like release the attachment, because whenever I see the Four of Pentacles diluting into the Four of Swords, it's something that is very visible, is very tangible, you know, evaporating and, you know, becoming air, becoming like dust, right? Like something that is ethereal, right? There is no material significance, right? The significance is like in the ethers, is in the spirit level, right? I often say that the swords, they also symbolize spirit. So the reason to celebrate and the reason why this small gathering is so special and, you know, reason enough to celebrate because it's happening spontaneously is because these four spirits, or, you know, however many spirits there are in your family, this unit is together there in spirit. It's like every single person is there, you know, body, mind, and soul, right? Mind and head, mind and heart. So like allow that attachment and that sense of obligation towards yourself, Aries, to dilute, to evaporate, to it's like allow that requirement, right? Like that demand, that very rigid demand to soften, because I feel like that's the outline that is required. That's the that's the necessary factor in this equation to create the safe harbor. Is not necessarily the material aspects or, you know, the physicality of it, right? It's not as, this is not as important, although yes, it's great to have all of this to offer to them, which you already feel like you do, right? So it's almost like it's pointless to be this preoccupied, which seems like you are right now. So take some time to think about how you're going to create this foundation for your family, but not in these, you know, physical aspects or monetary aspects, but like how are you going to leave like this outline, right? It's like creating the outline for the foundation to be placed, but with the contribution of each individual, not you superimposing to them your contribution or your part in it, right? Which seems to be what you are doing right now, or what you think is the best solution to create this safe harbor for them and for yourself. So we're ending here with the Ace of Wands. It's interesting because, you know, the slip of the tongue, I almost said starting, because, you know, the Ace is actually the new beginning, but it's a new beginning to create a way to provide safety and security and maybe, you know, financial security to your family, but not in a way that just extinguishes all of your fire, extinguishes all of your creativity and your enthusiasm, right? But rather reignites that. And you have to allow yourself some time to find that, but without all of the demands. Because you see here how the same Ace of Wands is here liberated from that, and here it's all caged up and conditioned, right? So it seems like you are conditioning yourself, and that is really, really stressing you out. So think about an alternative to provide the same base, the same foundation, but without the rigidity of the Four of Pentacles, and rather like the freedom, right, of every single, you know, being in this family. Every single person can bring their own contribution, like they are coming here with the Four of Wands. So it feels like you have to be the one to realize that in order to celebrate, it's almost like this, right? The ending is the beginning, so that when you are feeling liberated from all of these stresses, right, towards these ones, it's like they are happy to have you in this very free way, right? In this very creative way, instead of, you know, having to bring to the party all of your stresses, all of your issues, all of your concerns. Right? It's like there's no room for the Nine of Wands here in the Four of Wands, but rather if you liberate yourself and you find this new enthusiasm, this new passion, it's like you're going to be free of all of the responsibilities that are, you know, just weighing over your shoulder, and you're going to be free to just have fun and enjoy being with them, which seems to be the case, right? It's like it's very natural that it happens. So like, just perceive how this comes to be and realize what happens after when your mind is switched, right, to this mode of survival instead of mode of celebrating and being grateful for just being together with those that you love, right? I feel like also this is going to spark like this new creational force within you, right? Whereas here, it's like it's too busy or too heavy already. So Aries, I hope this was useful for you if you are, you know, celebrating and, you know, going from here to there between the celebration mode and the survival mode. There is hope for you, right? And it's here. So don't despair. It's not just salvageable, but it's like it's something to be excited about. So I am going to pull more cards for you, as well as the astrological runes in the extended reading. So if you want to join me there, I'll be very happy to see you. You can find the link down below. If not, I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.